Chapter 1 of The Night Horseman. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Richard Kilmer. The Night Horseman by Max Brand. Chapter 1. The Scholar. At the age of 6, Randall Byron could name and bound every state in the Union, and give the date of its admission. At 9, he was conversant with Homeric Greek and Caesar. At 12, he had read Aristophanes with perfect understanding of the allusions of the day, and divided his leisure between Ovid and Horace. At 15, wearied by the simplicity of Old English and 13th century Italian, he dipped into the history of philosophy, and passed from that, naturally, into calculus and the higher mathematics. At 18, he took an A.B. from Harvard, and, while idling away a pleasant summer with Hebrew and Sanskrit, he delved lightly into biology and its kindred sciences. Having reached the conclusion that truth is greater than goodness or beauty, because it comprises both, and the whole is greater than any of its parts, at 21 he pocketed his Ph.D., and was touched with the fever of his first practical enthusiasm, surgery. At 24 he was an M.D. and a distinguished diagnostician, though he preferred work in his laboratory in his endeavor to resolve the elements into simpler forms. Also, he published at this time a work on anthropology, whose circulation was limited to 200 copies, and he received in return 200 letters of congratulation from great men who had tried to read his book. At 27 he collapsed one fine spring day on the floor of his laboratory. That afternoon he was carried into the presence of a great physician, who was also a very vulgar man. The great physician felt his pulse and looked into his dim eyes. "You have 120 horsepower brain and a runabout body," said the great physician. "I have come," answered Randall Byron faintly, "for the solution of a problem, not for the statement thereof." "I'm not through," said the great physician. "Among other things, you are a damned fool." Randall Byron rubbed his eyes. "What steps do you suggest I consider?" he queried. The great physician spat noisily. "Marry a farmer's daughter," he said brutally. "But," said Randall Byron vaguely, "I'm a busy man, and you've wasted 10 minutes of my—"
Sample complete. Ready to continue?